Hello and welcome to today's episode, the third episode of the second season. And as you can see, Mom has come to visit, and Mom is still very pregnant and also in a terrible mood. And when I first started the episode, I was just expecting her to have a nice quiet afternoon with her mom, but then unexpectedly Blaine came. So I was like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now. Anyway, so they're going to greet each other and they're actually going to sit around and chat for a little bit. And basically, what Sienna has in store for today is a little bit of getting a little bit of help from Blaine. He's actually going to help her start arranging her office. So you may have seen the previous episode, and in that episode, Sienna was very stressed out, sitting and talking with Kohei and his cousin Alex. And so even though she kind of likes Alex because Alex has a pretty funny personality and also, Kohei is her boyfriend, she understands that, while they're going to be working together a lot, she wants to have a space basically for her to sit and work where she doesn't feel so much pressure from the other two. So that's her plan for today. Her office is unfinished. And her mom's in a terrible mood, as usual. Being pregnant doesn't help. But in any case, her family has stopped by today to see how things are going and to just check in on her. And as I mentioned before, Blaine is going to help her. And so her mom will leave shortly. She was just laying off. And then Sienna and Blaine are going to get started in painting and putting a little bit of furniture into Sienna's office. And so Sienna's basically complaining a little bit about what had happened the day before and telling them about what her plan is. Like, I just want to get my office set so that I can have a place to go, close the door, lock the door, and not have to deal with anybody. And so the mom is telling her a little bit like, you have to trust Kohei. Kohei is a professional. He knows what he's doing. Don't worry too much about him and Alex. They're professionals. They're actually helping you get things off of the ground. So I don't understand why you would be, wanting to shut them out. But Blaine is 100% on Sienna's side. Blaine thinks that it's a really good idea. So that's part of the reason why he decides to help her do that. And so the mom is excited about the prospect of her daughter being a business owner, but she doesn't think that Sienna is making the right decisions. So she is kind of a little upset about that. Sienna would just basically, she's like, don't interrupt me when I'm, talking to your sister. That's what she's telling Blaine. But anyway, so the mom's going to take off now. And the other two are going to basically get started doing a little bit of the work here in the office. And so I wanted the office to be like a kind of a... It definitely needs to be bigger than it is. So when I used to work at a pharmacy, we had like a back room. Of course, we had like a little staff room. And then there was the room that was basically the office for the managers. It was so small. It was so cramped. And any kind of training that we had to do was also done in that room. So I was thinking I wanted to have kind of like a corner desk, but unfortunately I couldn't get it to work out. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do instead of that. And so I'm using some of the items from the Get to Work pack just because they're, it's perfect. It is perfect office supply stuff. So we're going to be using a little bit of that, but I'm not married to what we did today in the office. I'm not married to that yet. We'll see how it progresses as she makes more money. So anyway, it is an absolutely beautiful day in the neighborhood. Like, it is so beautiful. Winter is my favorite season. It's probably not Sienna's favorite season. But basically this little part here is just her enjoying the season with her brother. And so, because they grew up together and because they are so close in age, they have a lot of things in common, and it's really, really easy for them to bond over little things. And they're supposed to be having a snowball fight. She laid him clear out. But the game is so funny. It'll just, I don't know why she can't just face Blaine and they can have a normal snowball fight. Like, why are they not even looking at each other? The game is so goofy. Anyway. They're going to have some fun brother-sister time. Now they're going to make some snow angels. and we're gonna just kind of enjoy the atmosphere a little bit. So, see, I think in the last episode we had a little bit of trouble at the end of the episode where Sienna was feeling like, oh, somebody's always telling me what to do and all this kind of stuff, and I kind of get it. This kind of let's play is very much focused on forcing the characters to do things. Sometimes it's like 75% scripted and like 25% like random, just going with the flow. So I can kind of understand why Sienna kind of feels that way. But yeah, so you may notice there in the corner, there's some new development. This is actually one of Kohei's properties that he's been developing over the past few months. And we're actually going to be going there at some point during the season and checking it out. But in any case, yeah, the two siblings are very close. And so them having this kind of free time together, they can spend like an evening together like this is very, very good for them in their bonding. And so I'm kind of happy that, I don't know, it just makes me feel good. I have a younger brother, and it makes me kind of remember him a little bit. But yeah, so after this, Sienna's going to head back inside and try to get a few more things done in terms of work. And I think she's finding her new life very comfortable, with the exception of always relying on like Kohei, or always having to deal with Kohei and Alex recently. And she wishes that there was something that she could do about it. But this is one thing that she feels she has a relatively high amount of control over, and that is continuing to raise funds by doing these little odd jobs and things like that. And so, of course, raising a child in The Sims is basically free. She never has to actually pay for anything or do anything except for take care of the baby. But we know, like in real life, it would be very, very expensive. And so I imagine that even though Sienna can have an afternoon off where she can just hang out with her brother and have a good time, it is going to be spliced in with work here and there. It's going to be sandwiched between, like things that she has to do. But look at the cute little door. I just feel like it's so her. I probably will be using a lot of that kind of bohemian kind of style, because it's just Sienna's style. Okay, so here she is back in the house taking care of the baby, and we can see actually the work got rejected, but yeah, we're gonna pretend like it didn't. And so she was able to complete the job because of me, thanks to me. Yeah, and so after this, like, Sienna goes to make some food, and I realized that she's basically going to max out the cooking skill, which is awesome. And so it's not like I set some goals for her in this Let's Play. It's not that kind of Let's Play where it's like, let's tick this box and tick this box and tick this box. Even though that is kind of, an underlying theme, making sure that she starts her family, making sure that she starts the business, making sure that she fixes up the property. She has little things to do here and there, just like everybody does in life. But I'm so proud of her. Not only is she making rack of lamb, like who can make rack of lamb? I can't make rack of lamb. But she's also going to max out her cooking skill with this dish. So I was just very proud of her. So that's why I just feel so proud of her. All right, and there's the finished dish, and you can hear the sting. You couldn't see it, but you could definitely hear that she completed it. Yay! Go girl! So I guess now the next step is to become a master gourmet chef, right? All right, so that will wind down today, and tomorrow we have not a busy day, but she's going to go visit Alex and Kohei to finish up some discussion that they were having the day before. If you've been watching since season 1, you may know that this is not Kohei's original house. Kohei actually lived in one of the buildings in San Myshuno, but now he lives in the place that you get with Get Famous. I can't remember the name of it right now. But we're going to say that this is his original house, even though it's not. He didn't move the way that Paka moved. All right, so we can see that Kohei is very much not interested in the baby much. He's just kind of like, the dirty diaper and feeding the baby, and it's kind of seems like such a big hassle. It's kind of like his not approach, but his attitude towards the whole thing. And so Sienna doesn't really go anywhere without her baby. So even though she's coming over to spend an afternoon with him, of course she's not going to do it without little Sam. So while she's taking care of Sam and basically getting ready to work with Kohei, he's just kind of watching TV and taking a back seat. And that's something that she doesn't necessarily appreciate, but it's not as though it's not within her realm of expectation. All right. And so I think it's so funny, this animation. I've never seen it before. I always use this furniture, but I've never actually played in a house with it. So I'm not sure if that's just the natural way that they get into the seats, but I find it hilarious. Anyway, so Alex is Kohei's assistant. She's also his cousin. They work together, and they have been working together for quite a while. So she is privy to all of his projects and things like that. And she is the person who has a lot of the creative ideas behind the things. And Kohei's mostly, I'm not going to say like the brains. He's like, he deals with money. Like that's his big thing. His whole thing about it is about the money. But Alex is a creative sim, and she likes to sort of the creative aspect of it, the design aspect of it, or dealing with the clients, for example, is more her thing. Kohei is always there when it's time to collect money or, write up contracts or do signatures and things like that. So while Sienna is doing some research, he's just still kind of just like talking to her and she's kind of wondering like, why did I come over here? Why did I need to come here? If you weren't going to actually help, like what was the purpose of me coming here? And so she was supposed to just sit next to him and eat, but I find it kind of fitting that she was like, I'm just going to come sit next to Alex. Alex is the only one who actually did any work today. Like, thanks for cooking, Alex. It's kind of like her attitude towards that. And so then, Kohei is explaining a little bit more about the property that he built near Sienna's neighborhood, and he's telling her about how the owner of the hotel, the plans kind of fell through, and so he's worried about being able to sort of fill that property because it's kind of half done, and so he's not exactly sure what what's going to happen with that. So Sienna was going to clean the dish. I'm not exactly sure why the game sent her upstairs, but we're going along with it. And so we're just going to say that she's just kind of nosy, and because actually in the original part, and when the very first time, and I think the only time we actually were inside of his apartment, she never saw the upstairs. So we're just going to say that she's just kind of like, I just want to see what it looks like upstairs if you don't mind. So she heads upstairs, and so Alex follows her up because both Alex and Kohei sleep on the second floor. So she's like, oh, if you'd like, I'll show you my room. And so then Sienna's like, yeah, sure. I'd love to see your room. Okay, so they head in. And originally, I just wanted Sienna to go up there and sit down and stay there. But then she decides to just immediately get up and go sit next to Alex. And I'm like, Sienna, you're visiting somebody for the first time. First of all, don't sit on their bed, and don't sit on their bed in your day clothes. That's what I was thinking, but it's The Sims. Nobody really cares those little details. But anyway, so Alex is explaining a little bit more about her family, her relationship with Kohei, and about how it's not the best relationship, but she doesn't want Sienna to feel pressure to do things like bridge the gap between the two of them, because when they were talking the day before, Sienna was just kind of like listening to them bickering and getting kind of worried and getting kind of stressed. And so Alex is explaining to her now, look, you don't have to, we're family. This is just how we talk to each other. It's not a big deal. We have a great relationship, and, there's no need for you to worry. And so Sienna's like, okay, well, that's all good. And she's like, so what about you? Tell me a little bit more about you. And so Alex is like, I don't really like sharing a lot of my personal information, but, I will tell you that, I'm just like, going out. I like to hang out. I like to chill at home. I like to eat and things like that. Who doesn't, right? Okay, so they hear the baby crying. So they decide to go back downstairs. And Kohei is there, not really doing much about it. He's just kind of like, Sienna, the baby's crying, kind of attitude about it, right? So Alex is like, oh, I can change the baby's diaper. I keep saying, I think in one part I referred to the baby as Monica's granddaughter, as a boy. Okay, so Sam, she's like, I'll change his diaper if you don't mind. And so Sienna's like, oh, thanks. I appreciate it. And so now they're just going to chill and watch a movie. And this is kind of like, I don't want to say like a date, but you know how when you just like Netflix and chill or something? I've never done that myself, so I don't know what that actually means, but I imagine it's something like this. You can correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But yeah, just hanging out, watching a movie, having a meal, and just getting a little, close a little bit. But for whatever reason, Sienna is sitting as far away from Kohei as humanly possible. So I kind of sent Alex off, and then had Sienna and Kohei get a little bit closer to each other so they can start to hopefully build their relationship a little more. And so I turned the headline effects off and I'm trying to play more without using the actual user interface. So you can't see their relationship. But I think because of the conversation that they had where Alex was flirting with Sienna, their green relationship took a big hit. So their pink relationship is still good, but their friendly relationship is even worse than it was before. I don't know what to do. That wasn't Sienna's fault. Sienna wasn't inviting it at all. It was just that Alex was just like a tiger, a tigress. She wouldn't stop. And so yeah, so we're letting them have a little bit of couple time, which is really nice. Aw, getting a little closer together. Um, um, yeah, and so Sienna's going to head out now. Not too much hanky panky. So when she arrives home, she discovers, hey, what's this? This is a huge teddy bear, and this cute little bear with a little heart. It's so cute. And so for her, it's just like she's not showing the emotion, but if it was me, I would be so giddy about it. Like, oh my God, look what somebody did. And so she finds a little note, and actually these are from Paka. And so Sienna thinks it's kind of interesting because why are they pink? While I'm saying this, I noticed that Sam's crib is pink. Sam's crib keeps changing because I tried to install some content that would let me use a CC crib and it didn't work out right. So now he just has that crib and we're just going to keep that crib. It doesn't really matter. But Sienna thinks that it's just kind of interesting. Like, why is it pink? And so he left her that little note and he was like, I came by to see you and the baby, but you weren't here. So I'll just drop these off, hoping that you're staying warm and keeping safe. And I hope to talk to you soon. It was kind of like the message that he left. And so Sienna's just considering, did I make the right choice? Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you again in the next one.